Okay guys, this video is about setting up these new IKEA smart home devices. They're Matter-over-Thread with my existing eero mesh network. These are eero Pro 6s with Home Assistant. So this is a very specific setup which has worked for me. If you use slightly different ecosystems like Wi-Fi ecosystems like Google Home or Apple, you might still find this useful. You might find learn some insights from the issues that I've had and how I fixed them, and apply it to your own respective setups. So to start, I bought these from IKEA. These devices are about the same price if I ordered them from AliExpress delivered to my home here in Australia. And I thought that, look, if these don't work, I can return them to IKEA, get them refunded, get store credit. So no harm there. It's easier than having to deal with third-party AliExpress sellers, having to send it back to them. I've had some negative experiences around that in the past. So I thought, look, costs the same as buying from AliExpress, including taxes and delivery. Why not give it a shot? Okay, so at the moment I've got smart devices from different ecosystems. I've got Tuya, Meros, I've got Google Home, to name a few. And I decided that, okay, it's time for me to go Home Assistant because I wanted pure local control without going to the cloud. And yes, I know that some of them you can talk locally, but I wanted something that was a bit more robust and thus did not require subscriptions or setups with other ecosystems. Initially when I got my eero, I didn't know that eero 6s and above had thread built into them. So apparently they do, and that's good for me because my eero mesh network covers 100% of my home, which means that I've also got 100% thread coverage. So that's what triggered me to buy these devices from IKEA. I know that there are some reviews online, quite a few actually, including Mr. Who's the Boss, to say that the failure rates for these are quite high. But I decided, look, as I said earlier, IKEA's got a good return policy. Why not give it a shot? If it doesn't work, I'll return it. So when I was setting this up with Home Assistant, I was looking at my thread network, and I noticed that it wasn't only my eero devices that were thread border routers. I noticed that my Google TV streamer, and this is it right here with the remote, was also acting as a thread border router, and it has automatically joined my eero thread network. So I said to myself, hey, look, that's cool because that means that I actually have even stronger coverage in the home. And then I started pairing my devices. I started with these temperature sensors, and I had a lot of issues pairing them. Very similar to what you see online. They would almost look like it would work, and then towards the end of the process, it would say it's failed to pair. Sometimes it would pair, but then it would say it's successfully paired, but it would not actually connect, right? It would not actually show up in my list of Thread and Matter devices. So I was ready to return it to IKEA after a few days. I also had a temperature sensor that I was able to pair successfully, but just completely dropped off after 24 hours. It wouldn't reconnect. I took out the batteries, put them back, wouldn't reconnect to the Thread network. I did a factory reset, repaired it, and it connected then, but that already gave me that impression that these are not going to be very stable. If that's happened within 24 hours, if I wanted these sensors to work reliably over several years, this is not something that would give me a lot of confidence. So I was ready to return it, but then I decided to do some research online. I noticed that some people were saying, as much as possible, do not try and mix thread border routers from different manufacturers. And I remembered that my Google streamer was acting as another thread router. So I logged into I went into the Google streamer settings. I disabled thread functionality for Google TV and then restarted all my devices. And you know what? That fixed everything. So I was able to pair my remaining IKEA devices pretty quickly. They were not 100% success rate. I would say some of them I had to repair once or twice, but for the vast majority, it paired in one go. And one of the things that was really annoying me was these temperature sensors had an old firmware version, and my home assistant Matter controller was saying, you have to upgrade the firmware. None of them would work. It would try updating, it would get to 10%. Some of them went all the way up to 70%, but then just failed. And I kept restarting. None of them would finish updating. The moment I removed the Google TV streamer as the thread border router, everything updated in one go. So all these firmwares, so the remote required a firmware update. The temperature sensor, temperature sensor here required a firmware update. The door sensor required a firmware update. They all updated in one go. None of them timed out. None of them dropped off. And so far, I've been happily running this setup. So I should probably remove this because that is my setup. So I've got my IKEA smart home devices with Home Assistant with eero Pro 6s. So I hope that helps someone. If you run a different sort of setup, let's say you're running Apple devices as your thread border routers, only ensure that Apple thread borders are running in your network. Make sure you disable all the other thread border routers if they are from a different brand, because I think they do not talk well with each other, or possibly they are fighting for control. Whatever it is, try that first. But yeah, so in my setup, I've got Matter as my, Home Assistant as my Matter controller. Now, if I did not have this Home Assistant here, Alexa via eero would be my Matter controller. Now, that can potentially change the stability profile of my setup in the same way that if I bought the Matter hub from IKEA, I think it's 129 Australian dollars, it might also change the stability profile of my network. So I believe that there are some online reviewers who are testing this purely using IKEA products. So they're using the IKEA Matter hub with its own thread network. That might be well and good. So, but that might also be the cause of the problem. But in this video, I'd like to tell you that using eero Pro 6s with Home Assistant and the IKEA smart devices seem to work really well. I think that when people say that Matter is not ready, I suspect that it's not the protocol itself that's not ready, but it's the implementation of both Thread and Matter that is potentially problematic. I think a lot of the pairing issues that people have is not a Matter problem, it's a Thread problem, because if you observe the pairing process, the devices haven't even joined the Thread network yet. So your Matter setup, like the Matter controller, will only talk to your devices only when your devices have joined the Thread network. So I would say that the first technology that actually does get tested in terms of reliability is your Thread network. So in my case, it's eero that is providing Thread capability. And I can confirm based on what I've seen is that its Thread implementation is rock solid, because I start pairing them, the devices would connect to Thread, and once it's connected, only then will it talk to the Matter controller in Home Assistant. So I hope that's given you some insight on how to troubleshoot your own network. But for those of you who already have eero and Home Assistant, or planning to have a similar setup, I can guarantee that this works. Well, Can't really guarantee, but at the time of this video, which is in August 2026, this has been working well for me. Okay, thank you. That's all. I hope that helps a few of you out there.